Indeed, you heard it correctly, that leaders of Muslim countries from all over the Middle East are gathering in Doha, Qatar, in order to stop Israel, to try to gather together to come against Israel. Isn't that very biblical? You have Egyptian President Al-Sisi. He says that the peace agreement between Israel and Egypt is at risk. And what's happening now, like the fact that he struck the Hamas, is eroding any existing peace agreements and making sure no new peace agreements would ever be able to exist. And we say Hamas must be stopped. I mean, you don't start playing a game of chess in order to just topple the queen when you're almost winning. We have to see this through. I'm more determined than I've ever been in my whole life that we have to show the whole world what victory looks like for Israel. We have to defeat Hamas entirely, disarm Gaza, or else we're teaching terrorists that terror is okay. You see the tower fall, the Al-Ghrafi Tower in Gaza City, preparing for us to not only encircle Gaza City, but to take over on foot the entire city. It is hard, though. It is traumatizing. I mean, soldiers are going through it. I heard, since the beginning of this war, 20,000 soldiers have been treated for extreme PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and other mental conditions because of this war. Alongside, 1,000 new casualties joining monthly that are just PTSD. They can't work. They are in such trouble. About 600 veterans from earlier wars as well are being treated. So the total is 81,700 soldiers. That's a lot in a very small country. So the ministry predicts that about another 100,000 in the next few years will be added to that number. And so you have a budget that you're going to need of about 8 or 9 billion shekels in order to deal with this tragedy. But right now, I feel we can't deal with that right now. We have to just continue to complete the marathon. Right, Hamas is falling apart right now. Families in Gaza are moving. They're moving out of the Gaza city. Some are actually taking revenge on Hamas and saying they're the ones who caused all this. They're remembering what some people in the West have forgotten, that it's actually Hamas and Al-Qassam brigades who started all this and who continue to hold our brothers and sisters hostage, our sons and our daughters. And so there was actually a group, 2 fighters from the Al-Qassam brigades were eliminated by members of the Al-Majada family. So that's just showing you there's signs of that. And I told you Yasser Abu Shabab. So you have these groups that are saying maybe they might not love Israel, I don't know, but they're saying we're willing to stand up against this evil regime called Hamas. And so we also hear that Hamas is moving some of the hostages above ground. This is what we're hearing. So they don't want them to just be underground. They want to be sure that they're really in harm's way in the midst of the fighting. And so that's horrible because they have some of the hostages they reported in tents, in private homes, in buildings, as they see that we are advancing right now. Now, someone asked me, what is the most intense battles that you've seen? What are the most intense moments in the Seven Front War? And is it Judea and Samaria? Some call it the West Bank. Judea and Samaria. Is it the Syrian front? What happened with Iran? The sky filled with missiles. What happens in Yemen? The Houthi terrorists shooting us. The clash points in which place? And I'd say Lebanon. I'd say Gaza for sure, but also Lebanon. And you see the biggest ones, the biggest clash points was on the 7th of October, and afterward, and clearing out at the beginning. There was definitely a trend which we saw. It's almost supernatural, where our enemies would flee and hide in Syria, in Gaza, in Lebanon, yes, but there were definitely some major clashes in Lebanon. People almost forget about that I was in southern Lebanon. And you see some of the, you just look at the intensity of the battles in Maruna al-Ras, the battles in Aita al-Sha'ab, Kfar Kila, the battles, I'd say the most intense battles were there right at the late 2023 into 2024, between Hezbollah and Israel. But sure, Syria had so many weapons to attack Israel. And we just had to go clear this thing out. You have so many ships being attacked by the Houthis in Yemen. Literally a 7-front war. It's unbelievable when you think about what we've had to deal with in Gaza. And so, of course, even in Judea and Samaria, very dangerous. Soldiers were dying. There's bombs. Roads are blocked. They call it the block and Glock. You know, it's horrible. But let me tell you what, we've been able to come through it. We've seen Hezbollah be pushed back. We've seen the enemies in Syria be pushed back. We've seen, even in Yemen, the Houthis be pushed back. And yes, we've seen the Hamas be pushed back, but we're going to see them also defeated. Hey, just before I read a verse, I love to read a verse at the end. Do you like that I read a verse? Just comment. Would you comment if you like the verse? Just say, keep these verses coming. You know, it's horrible times that I feel these verses really encourage me. But here's what I want to give you as an encouragement. After Charlie Kirk was murdered in broad daylight, there's this thing I just felt to share. Okay, this is from me. It's, you know, people say, I can have a voice, and you shift that to, I will have a voice. So I can stand up. There's a turning point in your life where you will stand up. I can make a difference. I will make a difference. So you need to say, you know, I can defend truth. I will defend truth. I can protect freedom. I will protect freedom. That's you. It's time for you to achieve your destiny. I can speak with courage. I will speak with courage. I can honor the values of the Judeo-Christian way. I will honor my values. I can influence culture. I will influence culture. I can reject fear. I will reject fear. Cast it out. Just cast it out. I will live a life filled with conviction. You know, I will stand with Israel. I will support Israel. Support the voices here in Israel. Support the Aliyah Return Center. Support ChaimMailspin.com. You know, I can stand for truth, or I will stand for truth in these days. You know what's true? The Bible says in the book of Zechariah that Jerusalem will be, you know, a burdensome stone for all the nations that gather against it. What side will we stand on? Here we are with Fauda.
Hello, Aliyah Return Center. Thanks you very much.
Thank you for standing for Israel.